I don't, who put a, one of the members.
We called it Detention.
They were the dollar store.
Oh,
Yeah, Detention.
yeah, and they put the stripes on there, and we'd come out in the striped shirts and drag towel off the stage.
Okay. A couple of things about the convention. We want to move on to the 60s shortly here because we got a lot to talk about. But there's two other things we would like to talk about. One of which was the event that went on for what, 5 hours?
At least.
Tell us about that.
The convention was supposed to start Saturday at 1 o'clock. At 1 o'clock, George was still building a scaffold for painting by Scott Moore.
More Scott Donovan.
At 1:30, I opened the door and yelled at him, I'm opening the door in 2 minutes, which I did. And because we were a half hour late, the panel for fanzine editor was put off until Sunday night when we had the beer party. And it started at 10 o'clock when the beer party started. And at 2 o'clock in the morning, it adjourned to Harlan Ellison's room where it lasted until 4:30.
We had to close the beer party at 2 o'clock because we should have lost that. We couldn't, the hotel couldn't have beverage circulation after 2 o'clock, and so we had a little bit of beer left. But about midnight, we started sending pitchers of beer over to the party to keep. They were running thirsty and they couldn't get out of they wouldn't come out of the fanzine panel, so we took the beer into them.
The panel members changed periodically.
Kind of like this man.
In a way.
Yeah.
The topic changed too.
Dean was on that committee too, weren't you?
Yeah.
You should talk about.
Dean, come on up here.
And Greg was at the convention.
Yeah, my father came to get me because he wondered what the hell I was doing. I was 16 years old.
Have a seat, sir.
We had something about 16 years old at Detention. I was able to go up to a bar run by somebody from the hotel, and I got served.
Well,
And I wasn't there.
that was the late 50s, right?
Were adults, right?
Yeah, right. They thought everybody was an adult who came to that convention.
What's your recollection, Dean?
Mostly I was involved with pro relations.
I want to ask you about that in a minute, by the way. We had Paul Anderson as your guest of honor.
Yeah.
He was number 4.
Number 4.
The first 3 turned us down.
We didn't offer to find facilities. We didn't have the budget for that because the membership was only started out. We were only charging $1 per member.
Yeah.
We got cursed by all fandom, I think, because we raised the price to $2 because our postage went up 2 cents. And
That wasn't us, that was a couple of years later, the price of the membership.
we raised the price.
Did we?
Yeah.
All right.
This was the only time that Paul Anderson was ever a Worldcon guest.
We offered him 2 memberships at $4, 2 banquet tickets, $10.50,
Yeah.
hotel room, $15, a total of $29.50.
That was a big budget.
It was your 4th choice.
Can you, are the others dead? Can we talk about who turned you down?
You don't know.
remember.
The correspondence is downstairs in the exhibits area.
Yeah,
Well, we
but
can
maybe
find-
not that
So you
far.
want to dig through it.
Now,
Yeah.
your other guest of note was the great John Barry, the Irish fan. What can you tell us about him? Special guest. He was the Taft representative. He was a major
He was
fan.
from
Yeah.
Ireland,
no,
he worked for the, I think it was Belfast Police
Actually, he
Department.
wasn't Taft. He was a special
Yeah,
special fund.
I think, would he have been the first transatlantic fan?
Second, I think Walt Willis was first a couple of years, a few years later.
Actually, I think that helped establish Taft you know, when we brought, you know, it brought over, it
Yeah, yeah.
became a tradition then, and they introduced, you know, a tax to carry it on, to bring over more fans, you know.
Was he outgoing at the convention? Did he have a good time?
Oh, yeah.
He went to Windsor for an hour, just to say he visited Canada.
There's one other thing we want to ask you about the 59 convention. It was the first Worldcon for the Hugo Awards where there was a nominating ballot. What caused you to come up with that concept?
Howard decided the way it was chosen before was wrong. Before, I'm sure everybody knows, but it was the committee who made the choice.
That's what the rumors have been.
So, the nominating ballot, same way. The committee chose who would be on the nominating ballot.
But there was a big Hugo Awards, or 5 awards. We're gonna be 6, but we cut it back to 5.
Well, the 6th was going to be a film award, and there wasn't a film worth giving an award to.
We gave it back to,
For best writer, new writer, or
who was it?
Ryan Aldis.
Right.
You're right.
Because he came second to none of the above. Which also won the cinematic category.
This was also the first edition of the E. Everett Evans Memorial Award, which was a Big Heart Award. And it went, according to this, we heard it went to Bob Block. Bob Block won a Hugo Award. Did he enter convention?
Yeah. In fact, we, let us say, conned him into being an assistant toastmaster, who opened the envelopes with the award name in it. And so he opened the award and just showed it to the Toastmaster. And the Toastmaster, who was Isaac Asimov, actually made the announcement.
And Bob was speechless for several seconds.
Only 2.
Greg?
Story was
a long
Hellbound
time
Train.
Huh?
Hellbound Train.
That Hellbound Train, correct.
4 for you.
You, sir. You had a comment. All right.
Greg, you know, as a teenager at your very first convention, this was like your first encounter with fandom. What did you think?
Very interesting.
All right.
Was John very outgoing? Yeah. There's this game, sort of plonkers, and those are darts, soft.
Darts with a little rubber tip on the end, yeah.
And he and Gene Young and several other people I were shooting at each other across the room, so you couldn't hurt each other.
Launch.
And it was a nice bowl of nuclear fizz, which is a gin and something else drink. And so about 2 o'clock in the morning, my father showed up in the doorway of the room. He said, "Why haven't you come home yet?" I said, "Well, I sent Conrad home." Conrad was like 13 years old. He said, put him on a bus, you know. What do you want from me? So, no, you better come home now. So I got in the car and
There were some
he's driving along and we're going down Ratchet. I said, "Dad, I feel kind of dizzy." Opened the door and threw up. That's my first experience with
Thrilling mountain stories.
large amount of alcohol.
All right, we're going to talk more about the 1950s tomorrow at a special panel, but let's, I think, due to the interest of time, let's seg into the 1960s. Wait a minute, one more thing.
Total income of $3,277.42 for the entire convention.
How much were your expenses?
I think we,
Jim and I put in about $25 extra a piece into, you know, out of our own pockets for stuff like little playing cards. They were supposed to make money off of it, some decks of playing cards that.
with a drawing of by an employee.
And,
We've got a deck, one of those decks downstairs.
I have a couple of in my room, but, they were supposed to be sold, and we sold only about 2/3 of them and didn't pay for the whole cost of the printing, so instead of making money, we lost about $25 on the card.
Charge me $262. Well, actually, $183.75.
We had that backdrop, by dolls behind the speaker's table, and we're supposed to make a 50% commission on sales. Anything we sold, he did a backdrop of paintings, and they put it behind the speaker's platform. They had used it in several other, I think Cleveland, and we collected 50% commission on what we sold and sent him the rest of the money. And I think we sold about 5 of the pictures, which I bought 2, because nobody bought any hardly, and we didn't make enough on the commission to pay the postage to send it back to him.
We have one comment there, Joe.
I have the recipe for a nuclear fizz.
Alright.
Let's hear it.
1.5 shots gin, 1 shot of Cointreau, 1 shot lemon or lime juice, and a lemon-lime mixture is better. 2 shots soda, 2 or 3 drops of bitter.
That doesn't sound bad.
That's for fun.
Yeah, for drink. All right, at this point, I think we need to move on to the 1960s. Thank you, gentlemen. And
Well, they can talk about the start of the 60s, because they were there for that too.
well, yes, but and we'll get to that. I think.
Geriatric family.
Well, yeah, maybe. The Detroit SFL was reactivated in the 1960s, about 62 years ago.
Elder prophets.
Can we bring people up from who were active in the 60s? Please come up to the stage.
So that would be you, Greg, and
Carol will be up in there.
what?
Carol will be back in there.
Yeah, well, you guys are kind of a later 60s, but you can all
Go ahead. It would actually make a lot more sense.
That's right.
We can, well, while people are coming up here, we can give a little bit of background. The beginning of the 60s was kind of a lull in Detroit fandom. Is that so?
Yes.
Well, disintegrated when the convention was over.
Mississippi wanted to stay together, but we were not nearly as active, so we formed a bowling team that we lasted about 40 years to have continuity, but as far as fan activity, we've had very little of that through the 60s.
Except for the Cleveland bowling match.
Oh, yeah. That was a fiasco. The Tricon was supposed to be a 3-city bid, and they had the chairman was Ben Jason from Cleveland, and he arranged he carried out all the arrangements for the convention, and Howard and
Don Ford.
Mutavico.
We'll get to that in a minute, but let's back up just a second. One of the band names who comes up quite often in the early 60s is a fellow named Danny Plachta.
Yeah, he traveled with me to many conventions.
He apparently was one of the people who wanted to bid for Worldcon for Detroit, but as it turned out, it became a Cleveland bid in the end.
Yeah, Cleveland was much more active at the time, and there were much, and they advertised and plugged it, and Detroit had just had one, and so Cleveland bid for the convention. with the